Has this ever happened to you? You buy a pork tenderloin and a matching marinade only to end up with overcooked pork sitting in a puddle of burnt? Most commercial marinades are sugar heavy, and in a hot oven, that's just a recipe for black. There's got to be a better way to flavor bland pork. Here's everything you need to add some seriously tasty flavor to your next roast pork tenderloin dinner. And this really is one of the easiest ways to get a meaty meal on the table. And the key, you guessed it, is bacon. When you buy pork tenderloin, you'll notice that down on one end there's sort of a white covering. This is known as the silverskin, and it's basically indigestible. You've got to cut it off. Here's how to make a basic marinade with infinite variations. For each pork tenderloin, you simply need 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and 1 teaspoon of your favorite herb or spice. It's your choice. So here's how to create 3 different marinades from one formula. And this can be any form of sugar. It could be honey or maple syrup or white sugar or a jam, a jelly, even marmalade. Any mustard at all will work here too. 3 pork tenderloins, 3 different marinades, each with the flavors of the day. A spice, cinnamon. A dried herb, thyme. And a fresh herb. You could brush or spoon this on, but your hands work better. Here's how to lock all that flavor on with bacon. You'll notice that each tenderloin has a thick end and a thin end. So just fold that thin end under so you end up with a sort of even thickness. Then start with the end of the first slice of bacon under the fold. And then just start wrapping around as tightly as you can. It's key to keep the bacon tight. And as you wrap the bacon around, just a slight overlap is all it takes. It usually takes 3, maybe 4 slices per tenderloin. And if you end up with too much bacon, not that there's such a thing as too much bacon, just trim it off. And if the end of the bacon ends up on top, here's how you anchor it. Believe it or not, with spaghetti. This works so well because the end of the spaghetti that ends up inside the pork actually dissolves away as the pork cooks. And the part that sticks out on the outside, you just break it off after the pork is cooked. Don't sweat the details here too much though. It's a very forgiving method, and as long as you end up with a layer of bacon across the pork tenderloin, it's going to taste amazing. The key now is to crisp the bacon without overcooking the pork, and the best way to do that? High temperature, 500 degrees, and that way you drive so much heat into the bacon so quickly that the pork on the inside doesn't have a chance to overcook. You'll know with certainty that the pork is done cooking when it reaches an internal temperature of exactly 145 degrees Fahrenheit, which takes about 20 minutes or so, and that's plenty of time to get the dishes done. This reminds me of my first week on the job as an apprentice. I had gone to Europe to learn everything there was to know about cooking, and my knives were sharp. But let's just say you don't need sharp knives to wash French dishes, and in just 2 short weeks, I became the best dishwasher I know. At 145 degrees, today's pork is perfectly cooked. It's nice and pink, it's still juicy, and it's perfectly safe too. And it's always a good idea to let the pork rest for a few minutes before you slice it. Give all those agitated internal juices a chance to calm down. Let's see how the cinnamon version turned out. The cinnamon is surprisingly savory there, maybe because it's wrapped with bacon, and the bacon's doing a great job here. It's holding on all that flavor tightly, it's adding flavor of its own, it's adding moisture with its fat, it's adding crispness. I mean, bacon's an awesome problem solver, and even if you don't have a problem, bacon's a lot of fun to play with.